Okay, standing here with Lions coach Ivan Van Rooyen. Ivan, just very quickly, new season, fresh start, a couple of new players, a couple of old faces leaving. What's the preparation like, and how are we feeling ahead of the season?
Yeah, I think to start off, we had preparation. It's the first pre-season in about 3 years, so we're really happy with that. Never nice losing players, especially to local teams, but also opportunity for the next guys to come in. Some nice, exciting signs from the outside. So Ron Smith joining his twin brother JP. Some nice chemistry that can happen there. Marius Lowe for us is a big signing from the Sharks. It's a couple of loan players from the Griquas. So yeah, some nice new faces in the camp. Happy with pre-season in terms of a lot of work done. Conditioning levels are a lot better. Playing structures is a lot better. So we're really looking forward to the season.
In terms of players, have you got a full squad now? Anybody? Do we look on the lookout for anybody else joining the union, or are we pretty settled with what you have at the moment?
So if we start with a negative, so 99.9% healthy and fit squad. Manny Russ unfortunately has a hip operation last week, so he's the only player that's out for a long time. 2 or 3 guys that's hopefully a week or 2 away from being fit and healthy and ready. There is some movement in the background with potential new players. Because of the contract model, some guys finish off in June, some in October, some in December. So there is still movement in the background, which is good.
On that contract thing, it's actually something I want to ask a couple people. Do you think that's much having a change in terms of when contracts might run out with the new season to try and align a little bit better to avoid these sort of situations?
100%. I think for us as the Lions, and I would assume everyone is probably going to move from June to July. It just doesn't make sense for contracts to end in the middle of the season, because then you get what currently is happening, and for us to get not just players aligned, but also the squad health and the squad wellness, and just get proper alignment, is you have to finish at the end of the season. So I think from our side especially, we're going to work from June to July.
You mentioned a couple of players leaving, like Similani, Chituka, Kardisari, Burger, and are pretty key positions as well. And you have brought some new faces, but how big of a loss, and how important is it for the players who have remained to really sort of step up and fill that void?
Yeah, it's massive. I think all 4 of those players were consistently in our starting team. So, I mean, I'll be lying to stand here and say, no, it's not a big loss. Obviously, it's a big loss. But like I say, someone like Marius Lowe is in the stage of his career where it's time for him to make that step forward. Ron Smith has got, I think he's the most experienced Australian tight end that played for every province. So getting guys like that, in quality like that, into our system is vital for us. We've got a big expectation of them, of what to do in the season. And we feel that we have filled the vacancies that we've lost.
Speaking as a Lions fan, it was a bit of a slow start last season, but then you also show signs that we're not just participants in the competition, you can compete. And I think that Munster defeat at home was a massive statement. You've had a pre-season, as you mentioned. You've now probably a bit more settled with your coaching staff and new coaching staff. What is the team hoping to do? New competition, Challenge Cup as well. What's the next sort of step for the Lions?
Yeah, so I think someone like Joffrey had one defensive session before game 1. So we had 3 months of pre-season. We've got a rhythm in the coaching group of what to do and how to do it. I think our relationship, not just between the players and not just between the coaches, but also as a group collectively is a lot better. I think we were probably the most disappointed with our January, February patch against the South African teams. We played 5 games in a row. We barely got any points on. So big focus for us there. And like you said, I think that the Munster win at home, the Edinburgh win at home, I think that was massive for us in terms of momentum at home. But I think someone like the Leinster game there, where we felt we competed, we really competed against the Leinster team there, that changed the perception and that changed the mindset a little bit. The Stormers have showed us, the Bulls have showed us, if you get a home playoff game, anything is possible. So I think a big thing for us would be in the top 8, see if you can get a home playoff game, and anything is possible.
And then you sort of speak about how that home ground advantage. You know, you were there when we had sort of Fortress Ellis a couple of years ago, and it was probably one of the worst places to come and play with a high-tempo team at altitude. How important is it to bring that back, to make sure that their teams are scared, teams don't want to come to play at Ellis Park?
I think it's probably the most important thing out of everything. Having the athletes, having the team that can play a specific band and use what we have in our favour. I mean, everyone in the world knows that Joburg is a tough place. Joburg at altitude is a tough place, and Joburg at altitude, 3 o'clock in the sun is probably one of the worst places to play it. But it's only a threat if you can really use it. We didn't really use it well enough, and one of our big missions this season is to really utilize it.
And then just in closing, the Lions have always been a team that have backed youngsters, but then all of a sudden with the Currie Cup happening at the same time, we had a very, very young Currie Cup side. How do we sort of plan for that in the future to try and maybe sort of expand the squad a little bit and make sure that we're not sort of just sending a very young, inexperienced team to play against? I mean, we saw, for example, like the Sharks and the Bulls, who had some very strong Currie Cup sides. How do we get that balance right as the Lions?
I think it's a combination of competitions running across. There's a limit on amount of numbers. I think where we're a little bit different than the other 3 teams is we've got 4 under-21s currently in our starting 23. So if you add Ron Venter, Jordan Hendricks, Kieran Horn, and Eko van Wyk to our current under-21 team, that's a different animal. But I think part of our success the last 5, 6, 7 years in the junior system was not just from Mzwaki and the coaches that's doing a good job, was because we're backing youngsters to play senior rugby quite early. Our junior program is really functioning well, and they're playing senior rugby early. So that's good and healthy for the system. The challenge is when they get to us, they're relatively young. 60% of our squad isn't even 23 years old. So well, it's a challenge currently, but it's a great challenge for us. If we can get the best out of them and we can get them 20, 30, 40 caps before they're 25 years old and keep them for the next 3 years. When we hit 3 years from now and our average age is about 26, you're sitting with an unbelievably experienced squad. So a challenge currently, but hell of an exciting times for the next 2-3 years.
Thanks so much, Ivan, and good luck for the season.